Howdy again, it's tubalcain, your YouTube shop teacher, and welcome back. And this is episode number 25 of my This and That series. And let me start out here by talking a little bit about these magnetic tools. And I recently made a video on this retractable type of magnet for cleaning up chips, and that was tips number 319. And the whole idea here was to replace this original Brown and Sharp one that I've had for about 40 years, and it finally wore through here from running it in the T-slots and cleaning out metal chips. But within a day after I released that out of the clear blue sky, and I don't know if it's ironic or it is coincidental or what, but I received this package from Jeff Barber of G&L Industries, also Musco Lighting, and in the package is a complete set of their retractable tools, and I was so thankful, thank you Jeff, to get these. And these are going to be most useful around the shop. But there is their latest version, and they still make these, of the magnetic tool. There's a ballpoint pen, a scriber, all with pocket clips, a little knife, and they make a few more even than what I'm showing you here. And this is the automatic center punch, which I've carried for so many years. They made the tools for Brown and Sharp, and I think Fowler and possibly Mitutoyo and a few others. I'm not totally sure. But looking at their website, gnlindustries.inc, here's a complete selection of their tools and replacement parts and all the things like that. And there's a few more tools here than what I have just shown you. And they're made in America, by the way, which is amazing in itself. But G&L branched off, and the same owner also owns, and I think you'll find this interesting here, Musco Lighting, and that was also on Jeff's business card that he sent me. But they provided, or do provide and build, the lighting in most of the major sports arenas and stadiums throughout the United States, including other venues such as the Mount Rushmore monument lighting, if you've ever been there at night to see that. So it's quite a company, and the G&L Industries now seems to be the smaller branch of it. Thank you, Jeff, ever so much for sending those tools, which will last me a lifetime. I've talked about beryllium copper tools, and I've had a bunch of them over the years, and really the only things that I have left that I know of that are beryllium copper are this set of wedges. And beryllium copper is it's non-sparking, that's the main feature of it, but it's very hard for a copper alloy. And here's a screwdriver. Recently, in January of 2017, this article appeared in the Chicago Tribune, and it was about beryllium workers and how there's tighter protection over their health and so on in the factories, because it isn't really, from what I understand, dangerous for me to handle this, but to file it or drill it or in any way make dust is absolutely deadly. So that's what this article was all about, but I found that interesting to read that in a major newspaper. I think you may remember in the last video of this series, I received this gift, and when you get something from Amazon that somebody sends to you, you get one of these along with it. But this is from Paul, and the things that he sent me really came in 5 different boxes. So this was the last item to be received, and remember he sent me these wonderful Lennox hacksaw blades. But when I got this in the mail, and this is the United States Post Office, this was sticking out the side. Now, I had also ordered a camera, so at first from Amazon I thought, great, the cameras come out of the package and out of the box. But the way they treat stuff, and I know it's all automated and so on, but you know, this is just shocking. United States Post Office, and this isn't even the half of it. the very next day I had ordered another item, and it came in the mail, and it was almost like special delivery. That is, it didn't come with the regular mail carrier, but it was a separate carrier where the carrier came out, came to the door, walked across the yard. My wife picked it up. Now, I would have seen this and said, hey, what are you giving me here? Because look at the hole in the box, and it doesn't weigh anything. Well, what happened, the item was heavy enough to where in their handling, it just blew out the side of the box. And that's, again, our great United States Post Office. Now, the man that sent this to me immediately replaced it. He didn't bother to go through their insurance, because I think this is insured, but you know how that would go. But the priority boxes, if you ever examine them, are incredibly thin. It is corrugated cardboard, but not like what we know. But, you know, can't they handle things a little more carefully? And why? They weren't ashamed when they hand this off. They were not ashamed at all. And sometimes I've received damaged packages, and they'll put a note on it that says, we received this in damaged condition. Well, we received it from who? One of your other post offices. All right, sorry for ranting, but they deserve it. But in this box, and it was not damaged, but from Paul, came one of these wonderful Lennox hacksaws. Now, these are not cheap. These are a very expensive tool, but if you have never used a high-tension hacksaw, and there are other brands, it's not just Lennox, and they have supposedly 50,000 pounds per square inch of tension on the blade, but they really make a difference and are so much better than the cheap frames that we are used to. So thank you for that, Paul. You can store the extra blades up here in this tubular hollow beam, and it's beautiful to look at as well. Next up, another viewer appreciation gift from Howard in Lubbock, Texas, and he goes by the name Commando 340, and thank you, Howard. And Howard has sent me coffee before, and it's a premium coffee, and thank you for that, Howard. He knows I like my coffee. Supremo, 100% Colombia. And the beauty of it, and the reason he first started sending me coffee, it still comes in a metal can, so it's the gift that keeps on giving. So even after I drink the coffee, I got the wonderful metal can, and they're hard to find anymore. But also in the box was the original drinking bird. Now, I never did own one of these, but I wanted one of these when I would see them in gift shops when I was a kid. He asked if I would make a video of it working, and I'm not sure that I will, because I see from doing a search that there are many videos on this, but my grandson is 2.5 years old and is so intrigued every time the bird takes a drink of water. So let's take a look at it. Okay, birdie, take a drink. It looks like you're getting thirsty. Come on. Come on, don't be so slow. Thousands of people are waiting for you to drink. There you go. If you want to pause your video, you can read the different scientific principles here that are demonstrated. But what I found most interesting, and the reason Howard may have sent this to me, is that if you read the bottom line there, what it says is that, in effect, this, of course, is not perpetual motion. Some people think it is. There is no such thing as perpetual motion. But it is, in some ways, very loosely demonstrated, I think, a heat engine. And Howard knows I'm interested in steam engines, Stirling engines, of course gas engines. They're all heat engines. Gas engine, diesel engines, they're all heat engines. So that, in a way, that's what this is demonstrating. Come on, birdie, don't be so slow about it. So I hope you like this little demonstration, but you can, Mr. Wizard or somebody does a nice demonstration on the principles of this. Thanks, Howard, and thanks for the coffee. Some time ago, Michael sent me this little adjustable wrench. He knows I like adjustable wrenches, and these are generally the smallest size. These are 4 inchers. That's a 6 incher. But do you remember when Cracker Jack had prizes in it, and they often were metal, so I wonder if that was a crackerjack prize, or maybe that came off of someone's tie clip or something like that, but it sure is tiny. Thank you, Michael. But let me show you something else on that. This is an 18-inch Williams wrench. This is a 15-inch crescent, and I do have even larger ones than this, but they're out in the garage, the cold garage, I might add. But the new addition to my collection from Michael is 1 3/16 long. And finally, last but not least, concerning my little hard-inch dividing or index head that I've had for many years, and it was given to me, but I never did have a tailstock for it. That must have got lost someplace along the line, if there ever was one, in fact. But I've been wanting a tailstock so I could do work between centers. So when I was at Grizzly in Springfield, Missouri in the last few months, I purchased at considerable expense this little tailstock. And this, in fact, is 3.5 inch high to the center, 3.5 about. So I bought their smallest one, which isn't quite large enough. And then the next size larger that they had was way too big and too expensive, but really the size I wanted was only available if you bought their their index head and their tailstock. So I settled for this. I went there with dimensions, so I knew that this would be lacking. So I probably will have to build a little bit of a riser block on this, on the bottom, or I think I can elongate these slots just a little bit to give me the extra reach, because I don't know if you can tell, but the centers do not quite come into alignment. I haven't attempted to indicate them yet. Also, there is no slots on the bottom. I may slot that out and do a little modification. But anyway, this should be serviceable and possibly seen in an upcoming video. So hope you enjoyed this episode of This and That. Thanks for watching my videos. This is tubalcain saying so long for now, and I will see you in my next video.